Hello, welcome to Talking Gamers match preview of West Ham United against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. A little bit of a different one. But Gonzo, what's your thoughts on City anyway?
I wouldn't quite say back to their sizzling best, but they're pretty damn impressive. Let's be perfectly honest with you. I feel this is the second wind of Guardiola, if you like. There was a point, came in, did really, really well. It wasn't so much that there was a dip, because actually their points total when Liverpool won the title was actually the points total when Liverpool won the title was down, wasn't it? But that one, they contested it where they won it by 1 point. Wasn't so much them dipping. Liverpool won the title. They weren't quite as good as they had been. And you thought Guardiola, who is cyclical in terms of he likes to take on a club, have a break, take on a club, have a break. It looked like he was coming to the end of his cycle. So I thought he'd be off. But I guess the whole COVID thing maybe gave him his little break away from football that he was going to take anyway. And he's come back and he signed a new contract. So I think he's just on his second stint, really, at the moment, mate.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, I too thought he would disappear eventually. I think the VAR coming to the Premier League, I think, was the bit where he looked a bit fed up with football, if anything. And for someone that's played football at such a high level like Guardiola has without VAR, and football's obviously changed a lot from his playing days to his management days, I thought he was almost getting a bit bored of it, getting a bit falling out of love of this football, if you like. But City and Pep this season seem completely different. It's like you said, it's almost like they've all gone and had a big holiday, which is remarkable considering most players were at the Euros and stuff. But they've come back a much better team, and I think a large part of that is probably down to Liverpool. I think the fact that Liverpool were so good, won the title, got City's backs up a little bit, and I think Chelsea, the resurgence of Chelsea a little bit now. I think there's stronger competition than Man City, and I think this is probably one of the toughest leagues that Pep Guardiola's managed it in England at the minute in terms of not necessarily immediate points. Because I think Liverpool were, right there, like you said. Yeah, Liverpool lost one game all season and still didn't win the league. Like something like the fifth record points in the Premier League and came second. But now there's a 3-horse race for the title this season, and I think that's actually given Pep a little bit of mojo, if you like. And City at the minute just look unbelievable when you're watching them play football. They're taking Brighton apart, who have caused them trouble in the past, and Pep's always said that he's the best English manager in the Premier League and stuff, and Pep clearly respects him, but they just ripped Brighton to shreds the other night. Like, they weren't there. I've been thoroughly impressed by them this season. Do you think they'll win the title?
Yeah, I do. Because just think so much of Liverpool's form is based on Salah. I don't think Liverpool got a ton of other options. I'm not saying Sané doesn't score. Firmino, I don't. Liverpool have good players, but I don't feel that all of Man City's is hinged on one man. In fact, City are playing well, but you're still waiting for De Bruyne to kick in. Whereas at the moment, Foden's doing his stuff, and Jesus is out wide a bit and stuff like that.
They don't even have a striker.
Exactly. So, no, I think they will win the title.
I think it'll be Chelsea. And for the reason I agree with you, I think, and it's not so much what will happen to Salah. Well, it goes away to African nations. Liverpool have to deal without Salah for at least 3 weeks in the Premier League, which is a long time. 9 points is a lot of points up for grabs, kind of thing. And yes, sure, City will be missing Riyad Mahrez, but it's not a big a loss as what Salah is to Liverpool. But I think Chelsea will pip it. But I do wonder if this will finally be the year to get the Champions League. I do wonder, if anything, I think they almost need to have a season where they struggle for the title race, so that Pep has to focus primarily on the Champions League. The problem is when it comes to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals of the Champions League, they're still in with a shout for the title. They're still leading the race in the Premier League, but not by enough that they can take the foot off the pedal a little bit. And I actually think sometimes the title race is Pep's downfall when it comes to European competitions. And I also think, who we as West Ham fans should judge Pep Guardiola's tactics, but I sometimes feel he gets a little bit too fancy in the big games. He tries something.
Yeah, the final.
Yeah,
got it all
so
wrong.
if he gets it right, genius. But when he gets it wrong, it's like, what have you done that for? Why have you tried that? So I do sometimes think he just takes a little bit too far at the moment. But I think this year, no to the Premier League title, but yes, the Champions League. And we'll decide what we think of the Man City retaining their League Cup status in just a minute. But before we do, Gonzo, while we're talking about possibly the best team in England, how about we talk about the best football app available for people worldwide?
It is a wonderful app, and it hasn't had a takeover like some of these clubs. It's downloadable from the link underneath, down there, under screen. It's free, and you can get all your West Ham news. Not only get your West Ham news, you get your Man City news if you want it, because when you sign up, you select which clubs you want to follow. But you wouldn't have to follow Man City, because ahead of this game, it would have all the League Cup news all put into one place for you. On match day, it comes into its own with the lineups revealed. Post-match, we've got statistics. We'll tell you how many goals Man City has scored and all that sort of thing. It's the One Football app, downloadable in the link below.
So, Man City fans, you're unsure if Raheem Sterling will be fit or not for tomorrow night. Get the One Football app downloaded, as Gonzo, link in description below and the pinned comments of this video. Players you admire, Man City? Bit of a tapping question, this.
Yeah, I mean, it can't. There's so many good players, almost can't be bothered, Geo, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not like going through Brighton's team and picking a few. Actually, you haven't said that. I mean, Brighton, I always say this, I really like Brighton as well. I'm with Guardiola on this one. I think they're sensational. I hate playing Brighton, by the way. Anyway, Diaz, obviously, just fantastic, remarkable. I like Cancelo. I think he's a really classy player, absolute quality player. Foden is in really good form and playing some weird sort of position. They got loads. They just got, honestly, Gio, it's too many. It's ridiculous. Otherwise, I'm just going to name every player. There's three. The goalkeeper ain't bad either.
The one that I'm going to mention is Bernardo Silva, because he looked like he was on his way out in the summer. You know, it was almost expected Bernardo Silva was going to be the one to make way, because they had this whole, can they afford Grealish and Harry Kane? And the answer was no. So they're going to have to get one, shift a couple of players and get the other one. And Bernardo Silva seemed to be the player at the top of the list in regards to who they were going to sell in order to fund the move for Harry Kane. And he obviously didn't go. He stayed at City. So there was obviously a question as well, how is he going to be at Man City? Oh, he's been superb. I think he's been unbelievable. He's been fantastic since he's got there, kind of thing. But while we talk about the resurgence of Pep Guardiola, I think there is a little bit of that with Bernardo Silva as well. Every game I've watched Man City play, he's probably their best player on the pitch. He's the most influential one. And it's rare to have a player that can be world-class in more than one position. You know, usually you get, Jack Grealish can be world-class playing in that left wing role. Put him centre midfield, he won't be world-class. Put him up front in the false nine that Pep's done at Anfield and had to move him. He wasn't world-class there. In that one role, he is. Bernardo Silva, I think you play him on the right, you play him centre midfield, whatever. He just performs, and he performs to a ridiculous level. He's not even a centre midfielder, but he's better than 90% of centre midfielders in the Premier League.
Well, he knows how to do that, Pep. Don't forget, he moved Philip Lahm in central midfield. He dropped Kevin De Bruyne back. That manager knows how to do that. Was
it him that moved Josh Kimmich as well?
I don't know.
Might have been. I don't know. It might have been him that moved him into midfield for Bayern Munich as well. But yeah, it's just unbelievable. Bernardo Silva's won this season. I thought, wow, whenever I watch him, I think he's just some player. And I agree with you about Diaz. He's the reason he won the title, possibly win again this year. Just changed the way that Man City play, because they were always a little bit leaky, weren't they, City? It was always like, you need to sort that defence out. Since Kompany got injured, it was never really the same. But now they've got their new Vincent Kompany with Diaz there. Last question on Man City, though, a bit about West Ham as well, sort of feeds in. That's why I did the players first. The League Cup is very much Pep Guardiola's bread and butter. 5 years since they've lost a game in the League Cup, 21 games they've won. 25 is the record. Liverpool hold the record for 25 games won in the competition. It's not good for West Ham, though, is it? Normally you play like a top 6 team, you think, oh, brilliant, they'll heavily rotate like Man United did, and we can take advantage of that. With City, Pep doesn't really do that, though.
Well, the trouble is, mate, the trouble is with these, I get bored of talking about Man City, quite frankly, because they've...
You hate it.
I do hate it, because it's boring. It's boring. So when you do the build, we've just done a build up there. Which players are you interested in? Honestly, I have more fun talking about almost anyone else, because you actually have players to pick from. They haven't just got this ocean of wonderful players, which Man City have. So, just ask the question, yeah, whatever, I'll name 3, doesn't matter. Could name another 3, could name another 3, could name another 3. When you spend increments of 50 million all the time, you're going to have a fantastic squad. And when you have that fantastic squad, you're going to clean up in the League Cup, because not everybody else takes it as seriously as they would do. And I include West Ham in that. West Ham made changes in the last round of the League Cup and will continue, because us mere mortals can't afford to play our best team in every game. We have to wrap up and cut a wall. I mean, we're in Europe at the moment. As a club, we're managing it really, really well. We really are. 9 points out of 3 games, wonderful. But we make changes. We've got a different defensive partnership for that game. And unfortunately, when we start dipping into our reserves, which is what we do, when any club dips into its reserves, they can't compete with Man City because they're so bloody wealthy. And it's what can you do? They're just gonna continue to clean up, Geo, and it's a bit boring. They got punished for it, didn't they, for fiddling the books basically a couple of years ago. They should have been punished harder, to be perfectly honest with you. If you get caught with your trousers down, you get caught with your trousers down. But they sort of got let off a little bit, didn't they? But it's gonna be really, really interesting actually with Newcastle coming in to see. They've now got somebody possibly who can compete with them. It just depends if Newcastle can fiddle the books in the same sort of way, really. It'll be interesting to see if they can pack out their squad. But there's only so many players in the world, isn't there? There you go. It's my annual Man City rant.
There we go. I was waiting for that. The first 3 questions you remain calm on. I was a bit disappointed. I was hoping to get you that last one. But no, you can only really agree with that because City can play their second team like they did in the last round. The last round, they rotated heavily. They put a couple of youngsters out, but they started... I think they were playing Wickham. They played Wickham in the last round. They started Raheem Sterling, Ferran Torres, players that one guy's wage is more than the opposition's combined wages and stuff. And it's just like, what are they meant to do? What are they meant to do? And it's going to be the same again. I'll rattle off 2 or 3 City players here that didn't feature against Brighton and may start against West Ham tomorrow night. John Stones, Nathan Ake, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling himself, Zinchenko, players that would walk into West Ham starting 11, even though we're performing so well, players that are good enough to start for West Ham, didn't start against Brighton and may start tomorrow night. So that's the reason, essentially, that City can do well in these competitions, as Gonzo said. They can swap out 11 players and bring in 11 players worth an average of 30 million each.
But they're touchy about it. Here's the thing. It's not like they've had a spend up and the City fans go, yeah, we've had a spend up, we're rich, this is where it is. They get touchy about it. Say, oh, hold on. Look at what Man United have spent. Look what I spent. And they make out they're the Orphan Oliver. Honestly, they make out that they're basically everyone's just getting a feast and they're getting gruel. But somehow they've managed to turn this bowl of gruel into a banquet. This is, they're literally in the billions, but you say, oh, look, you've got a good squad because you spent loads of money. Oh, no. It's all the others that have spent the money. No. Ours is just savings from the piggy bank. I don't know. We've done it. It's a miracle.
Anyway, we'll move on to West Ham just a second. Before we do, just tell you we're running our boats tomorrow night ahead of the Man City game before the match. There's usually a charge to enter the boats, but there isn't any tomorrow. There is no fee. It's completely free. The link to get a ticket is description below. You need a ticket because we will sell out. We cannot let anybody in that doesn't have a ticket because of capacity reasons. Instead, we're asking you to bring a can or 2 of food, and we're collecting for the Iron Supporting Food Bank tomorrow night instead, and all the food will go to them. They will be in attendance to collect your donations as well. So if you're going tomorrow night to the boats, please bring a couple of cans of beans with you or something, and it'll help out the people who do fantastic work there already. Now, Gonzo, ready to talk about your...
I'm sorry, nothing exciting. There's Man City.
Man City are so rich.
With their billions. There's West Ham's hand. You bring a tin of beans. There you go.
If a Man City player is watching this, if you could bring all of Tesco's beans with you.
Yeah,
if you could just go buy the whole of Tesco's shelf and bring it down with you, that'd be much appreciated. Right, West Ham starting 11. Well, before we do that, actually, let's go backwards. Because I never did the Man United preview with you for the Cup game because I was away. Do you care about this competition this season?
Not as much, Geo. Not as much. I'll only say that we love this every season. We want to go and win this. This is where I want us to play our best team, right, in this competition. I do every season. But you've got to take context into it now. And that is that we are 1 win away from the last 16, of the Europos Cupos or whatever it's called, right? 1 win away from the last 16. I would suggest, actually, we have a better chance. This is how hedged against everybody it is in this League Cup. I'd suggest we have a better chance of winning in Europe than we do of winning the League Cup, actually, because we've already travelled half that journey. But if we get 1 more win, so I think you have to be clever on that. I think also we're 4th in the league as well, and there's an opportunity there. So this is slightly different. Every season, Gio, we say, look, we're not going to do anything in the league. We're not doing anything else. So let's take the cup seriously. It's not the case. We're bloody good this season, aren't we? So, yeah, I'm not as bothered.
I'm not that fussed. My team is going to reflect that, hence why I'm putting this disclaimer in before and giving you an opportunity to put your disclaimer in before you tell me the team you'd like to see. Because every year, myself and Gonzo sit here, League Cup, FA Cup, this is the most important game. We want to see us win this competition. The League Cup this year, I'm not that bothered by. Moyes could almost put the kids out and I wouldn't be too fussed, if you like. I'd understand it completely. I would 100% get you. Because even if we were to win the League Cup, and yes, the silverware would be unbelievable. I'm not trying to play that down. But after the League Cup, the reward is the Europa Conference League. We're better than that already. We're in the Europa League this season. We're, like Gonzo said, we're in the top 4. Do we expect to stay there? No, but I'll tell you what, fourth place in the Premier League is up for grabs this season. Chelsea, Liverpool, City, top 3 sorted, right? 4th place is up for grabs. Man United is a mess at the minute. Tottenham ain't all that. Us and Leicester are in the mix. 4th spot in the Premier League is up for grabs. I want to see us go for it. I want us to see us go for that and the Europa League. And in order to do both, you have to give yourself the best chance. And I think to do that is to have a fully fit team against Aston Villa on Sunday. And that means no risks as far as I'm concerned against Man City. That means no Mikel Antonio. 1 or 2 other players, don't risk them against Man City. And it's not bowing to City and forfeiting the game or anything like that. It's doing what City's doing. It's using your squad, but using it not necessarily for what City is for, which is, we'll give these guys the game time and stuff. Ours is different. We're using the squad for a different reason, which is to protect Mikel Antonio so that he's fit for Villa, so that we can get the win in Genk next week, and that's going to say secure the last 16. And then we go against Liverpool in 11 days' time or whatever. The following Sunday, we play Liverpool. 3 massive games coming up for this. We've got 4 games coming up for the international break. This is the least priority for me, and it's the first time myself and Gonzo has ever said that about a cup game. Now, starting 11, you were quickly scribbling your notes down there. Ariel Angle?
Indeed, mate, yes.
Now, you're back 4 or back 3 because you might want to play Masuaku, and if you're going to play Masuaku, you might want to change formation.
Well, I do want to play Masuaku, actually, but I will stick with the back 4 because I've looked at them recently. They're not really technically got a centre forward, so I don't really want 3 centre halves stood there with their hands in their pockets, not knowing who to mark. So I'll go with Fredericks, Dawson, Diop, and Johnson at left back.
See, I agree with 3 of them.
I know which 3.
Which one am I going to leave out?
Well, you're going to disagree on Johnson.
I am. I think he's too important. I think while Soufal's unfit, I think while he's as we speak, Ben Johnson is currently our first choice right back and our second choice left back. If Kesper gets injured, Johnson moves to the left and Fredericks comes in. Right, that's how I see it. So I think Ben Johnson's one of those players I'd leave out. He's too important. Do I want to face Villa without Ben Johnson? No. He's the only player, there might be 1 or 2 other players, but it's off the top of my head. He's the only player that's played 90 minutes against Everton, Genk, and then Spurs. And the only player I can think of otherwise was Souček, but he came off injured against Everton. So he's the only player off the top of my head that's played 90 minutes in all 3. And I think it's almost a reward to Ben Johnson from the opportunity for Moyes to say to Ben Johnson, you're so important to me, you've improved that much. You know, I heard what Moyes said after the Tottenham game about Ben Johnson and Creswell. It was nice to see him praising those 2 in particular. So I would back those words up by giving them both the night off tomorrow night. So, no, you 2 are starting on Sunday against Aston Villa. So I'd bring in Harrison Ashby. And I know people are going to go, whoa, you can't throw the youngster in. Why not? He's been on the bench the last 2 games. Moyes clearly rates him. He's been in fine form for the 23s. I'd like to see him get an opportunity tomorrow night. I'd like to see him get an opportunity in the latter stages of the Europa League group stage as well, because unlike Okuflex and Ekwa and Neves, they can't play in the Europa League. Harrison Ashby can. So let's get him in. I would get him in, get him blooded. Yeah. Because tomorrow night, we've sold out at London Stadium. 60,000 tickets sold for tomorrow night. Fantastic. That's a good environment to put Harrison Ashby in for, I think. I think the fans will support him. Even if he has a nightmare of a game, the fans will still applaud him, still encourage him. I think it's a really good environment to give the youngster his first start for West Ham. Now, moving into midfield, what are you saying?
Krall and Noble.
I'm unsure Carl's back yet.
I think he is.
Is he just back?
I think that's your 10 days. Yeah, I think that's your 10 days. I did have a little
Noble
look
in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to put players in there who don't really feature in the first team. I know Johnson does, but I think he's young. There's enough of a gap there, and I think Sufal is probably back for the Villa game anyway, from what I've heard. So yeah, and I don't mind the odd one in there. You can dip in, dip out. I do like the Ashby shout though. To be fair, I wouldn't be disappointed with that at all. But I'm just trying to keep first team players out of it altogether, mate. Really, as much as I can. So yeah, Krallen Noble.
Yeah, me as well. Carl Noble, if Carl's fit, if Carl's able to play, I assume he is, because Gonzo was right the last time when he said Carl couldn't play because of COVID. He was correct with that. It's been confirmed Carl had COVID. So yeah, we got Carl Noble. Picks itself, really. I thought they played okay away to Man United in the cup game, them two in midfield. I thought they did all right as a partnership. I thought, Noble did well. And I thought Carl looked decent. Are they as good as Souček and Rice? No. But Fernandinho is not as good as Rodri in defence and midfield for Man City. Shame on them, really.
Absolutely.
What about up front then? Are you going to stick in Michail Antonio, or are you going to...
No, Yarmolenko will play as the striker in this one, just because I feel the other guys, I don't feel can play as a striker. So, yeah, I'll Yarmolenko up there. Look, we're going to be sitting back in this one for, which don't give an awful lot of opportunity for a counter-attack, and he's certainly not the paciest. But I just will not play Antonio in this. Wouldn't even have him on the bench. I really don't want it. I think maybe there's a little bit of a shame that we sent Odebeko out on loan, because this would be I would play our best young striker in this fixture, but we don't really have one now. So funny enough, isn't it? Our reserves don't really have a best young striker either. So we just don't really have many strikers at West Ham. We don't like them. A bit like Man City. It's going to be a very even game, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, they've only got Rory Delap to call. Liam Delap. Oh, did he go out on loan? It might be. I can't remember. They've still got Liam Delap to call on if they need to. But I'm unsure. I've gone with Yarmolenko as well, just through default. I don't want to see him up front because for the reasons you've said, it's the wrong game. Any opportunity we have is going to be on the counter-attack. And he's the last player wanting a counter-attack. He's just not fast enough. He's good. I thought he played well on Thursday because we enjoyed the line share possession. We were able to move it about slowly, and I thought that benefited Yarmolenko's game. He gets time on the ball, he gets a bit of space.
Yeah,
he's not going to have that up front against Man City. The way to exploit Man City's defence is with pace, but we don't really, unless I know people will be saying, well, put Bowen up front. I don't want to see Bowen play. I want Bowen rested. So I've gone Yarmolenko as well, just through. The one thing I will disagree with you, though, is I would have Antonio on the bench. Simply because if there's only 10 minutes to go and it's 0-0, I think I'd throw him on.
Sure,
and I think I would throw on a couple of the, like him and Bowen, I'd chuck them on and say, let's go for it. Let's go try and get this win, actually. But only in that instance, if we were getting beat 2-0, I wouldn't bother. But just in case it was even Stevens, 10 minutes to go, then I'd chuck the big players on and see if we can snatch a win. Now, your attacking trio, Nikola Vlasic is the first name down, I think. He's got to play in this one.
Yeah. Not going to, he needs games. Not going to be the best game for him to play because he's not going to see an awful lot of the ball. But he's got to play. And I want him to play.
It might suit him though, because we've only played him in games so far where he has lots of the ball. Do you know what I mean? He might get a bit more room again. He's one player that might benefit from counter-attack football. He's not really had the opportunity yet to play with the counter-attacking aspect. He's only been in there when it's actually congested in midfield, where the other teams on their 18-yarder were giving him the ball, saying, go and do something. He's like, well, I can't do anything. You have it back. So actually, this game might actually suit him a little bit more for the opposite reasons of Yarmolenko. So, yeah, Vlasic in for me. Who else you going with?
Lanzini and Masuaku on the left wing.
Yeah, completely agree. It picks itself just because of lack of players and options, really.
I hope he does, and I hope he does it. But I don't mind. I mean, we talk about sometimes managers getting a free pass. Moyes really does have a free pass on this one. Yeah. You can do what you want. You've got so much credit in the bank. It's unbelievable. Having another remarkable season. Like last season, we had a remarkable season. This season's we're in Europe as well. No problem. Whatever you want to do, Moyes, you crack on, my friend. So I wouldn't be surprised if Moyes is a bit more ambitious than we are. That would not surprise me, by the way.
I think we might see a Fornals or a Bowen in there, and maybe Declan Rice or Souček starting in the midfield kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit stronger than us and there's a couple of first team players. And
the thing is, So I know we've all know people like this, right? People that are at the top of their game, excuse me, in sports are really competitive. You know them. You've all got a mate like it. You play him at cards, he goes mad if he loses. You can't play him at darts. You can't play these people at anything. You play them at FIFA, anything like that. They go mad. They throw their controller down, and these people are ultra competitive, and they can't help themselves, right? And even if he knows it's the right thing to do, there'll be that little competitive edge that'll just want him to get one over on Guardiola. And he just think, oh, actually, no, he'll know playing Masuaku is the right thing to do. He won't quite be able to do it. He'll probably know playing Yarmolenko up front is the right thing to do. He probably won't quite be able to do it. He'll throw Bowen in there. So, mate, this is what makes people the way they are, and you can't really criticise it.
Yeah, it's a win-win for Moyes, really. We win superb, unbelievable. We were the first team to beat Man City in 5 years in the League Cup. We're in the next round. All of a sudden, League Cup becomes winnable. You're in the next round. You're thinking there's not much teams left now. Here we go. We can go on and win this competition. But, like you said, if he rotates heavily and gets knocked out, it's sort of like, we're against Villa and we're good. That's all we need to do kind of thing. So I think Moyes, as you said, has a free pass for this one. And the 11 we're naming, let's not forget, bar my Hash and Ashby, there's no kids in here. These are players that might play in the Premier League, might play in the Europa League. And, this is where we've got the advantage this season compared to the seasons gone by, where actually players like Lanzini and Yarmolenko do get plenty of game time throughout the season without ever playing in an important game. And
there's 5 internationals in our team.
Yeah. So it's not like we're putting out kids to the slaughter. Like I said, Harris and Ashby, but that's an educated one. The only other youngster, there's 2 other youngsters I wouldn't mind seeing. Apart from Harris and Ashby, that's Baptiste and Chester's. I think Chester's, what we saw a glimpse of him, he's highly rated under 23, just as Baptiste are. That's the only under 23s I wouldn't mind seeing in around the squad. There's outside shouts for Okuflex to be on the bench or something like that, but starting, that's only 3, and I'd only start one of them. 2 at push, but that is it. Keep it senior base. But anyway, you confident?
No, I'm not. You just can't be. It's really hard to. I spoke about Diaz. I suspect Diaz will not play. That being said, if he does, then I just think it becomes almost impossible. And I don't blame City, by the way, for sorting out the weak point in their team, which is the centre-back, and doing that. Everyone was talking last season, what a great partnership Stones and Diaz is. That's the partnership. And everyone's saying, what a great partnership Laporte and Diaz is. Well, there's a common denominator in there. And maybe Laporte or Stones are not. Individually didn't play a massive part in that partnership. My point is, you could almost put a lot of centre-backs next to him and you're going to have a good partnership. So I don't blame them for dealing with their one soft underbelly bit, but it was a little way that you might get at City. I don't necessarily think it's there anymore. I also don't think we've struggled to create in the last 3 games. And listen, but we've got a clean sheet, so that's not been an issue. We're not going to get a clean sheet in this game. And then you're into the realms of, can we outscore the opposition? Well, I'm not sure we can. The one area we might be able to get at them would be to get corners. I'm not sure because we will score from corners. I'm not sure that we can get sufficient shots on goal to force their goalkeeper to tip it round the goal to get a corner. So I think not, Gio, really.
Yeah, I'm not confident at all, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you what, I'm not nervous. I'm very relaxed. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's game because my expectation is minimal. And it's not because of, sometimes when you go into these games against City, your expectation is minimal because of your team as well as their team. But actually, for this one, it's completely different. It's almost like a new mentality I've got going into tomorrow night's game. It was similar to when I watched us play at Old Trafford in the League Cup in the previous round. I was like, whatever happens, happens. If we win, brilliant, fantastic, get in. But if we go out, I'm not that fussed. We've got bigger fish to fry this season, which is the first time I've said that in years at West Ham. So that's why I'm relaxed going into this one. We're not going to get battered. If we get beat, it won't be 4 or 5-0. It won't be a slapping. We might get beat by a couple of goals at the most. And that's it. I think we'll keep the scoreline respectable. But at the same time, I think we will pose enough threat for Man City. But the reason I'm not confident is because of our form so far. Pep won't take this game lightly. Pep will make sure. De Bruyne did not start against Brighton. He did need a bit of a rest. Didn't start against Brighton. I think De Bruyne will start tomorrow night. So, I think he'll be in there from the start. Stones and Ake will be the centre-back partnership. Mahrez will start as well. He'll roll out enough big guns in there, enough star quality to win that game. They play Crystal Palace at the weekend following this. Pep will see tomorrow night as a bigger challenge than Crystal Palace on Saturday. Palace are playing well, they're performing well.
Yeah.
But I think Pep will think, actually, I will roll the big ones out. Foden and Grealish should be on the bench. If one of them doesn't start, they'll both be on the bench just in case he needs it. And, this is Guardiola's bread and butter trophy. So if he wins this, after that, the FA Cup, the Champions League, and the Premier League titles all get decided. If he misses out on them all, he's still got something. He doesn't go trophyless. Pep Guardiola does just not go without a trophy at City. This is his bread and butter, and I think we will see that tomorrow night with the selection. It's not our bread and butter this season. This is our least priority of the 4 competitions, in my opinion. I think we will see that as well. With all that said and done, can I get any final words in your score prediction, please, Gonzo?
No more final words to say really on it, to be perfectly honest. But I think it'll be West Ham 1, Manchester City 3. However, I think we get our revenge in the league. I think they will take this more seriously than we do. And I think in the league, we'll be up for it. We'll have all our best players playing, and if fit, we'll give them a really, really good game. But I don't think this will be the good game that we give them.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Actually, this was a preview for a league game. I think the preview would be completely different. We played them towards the end of November, just after the international break. We played them. As Gordon said, the preview will be completely different. But I'm going to say West Ham 0, Man City 2 for tomorrow evening. I think that'll be a side of the League Cup. But anyway, tomorrow night kickoff is at 7:45, 7:45, which means we'll be live an hour and 5 minutes before. So 6:40, we will be live on this channel tomorrow. So come and join us. We'll be taking a look at the teams that Man City put out, the teams that West Ham put out, of course, and looking ahead to the game as well, and interacting with you on the live chat. 6:40, come to Hammers Chat, your one-stop shop for everything you need on a match day. Gonzo, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Look forward to it.
Enjoy this period, drop a like, comment, subscribe, and you're out here. Make sure you download that One Football app. You'll need it for tomorrow night. Catch you in a bit.